working is the question. Check on my phone. Seems to be working. Okay. So we're building this guy. Some beta FPV. I can't remember which one it's called. There's a 3.5 inch little frame. I did a review video on it a little while ago. So if you want to check that out, it's on my channel. Anyway, so I thought I'd try a live stream. Not that anyone's watching, but I didn't expect anyone to anyway. But, you know, I'm doing this anyway, so I might as well see if we can't do some live streaming and see what we can do with it. So what I'm going to do is hopefully change the camera over to a scene where you can see and wait for YouTube to catch up. Ah, there we go. Lovely. Okay, cool. Right, yeah, so we're working on this. I'm just looking at motors at the moment. Right, so we've got the frame here built up. Need to take it apart. But I'm just looking at the motors here. These are, you can see here. Focus. It's an Eachine Special. They are 1404s. And they are 3600 kV. I think, obviously not made by Eachine, but I think they're actually made by HGLRC or something like Diatone, something like that. They're very, very similar. They've got the similar kind of look underneath with the little plastic that Diatone ones have. So yeah, let's see with the arms here. Obviously the screws are ridiculously large. I think these are for a Cinewoop, so they might have quite thick arms on Cinewoop. Not got one, so I don't know, but I'm just making an assumption. So there you go. Right, so I need to get some screws that are actually the right size. My little screw box, which you should always have. And I don't have my tweezers. Let's see what we've got here. Same size. Small. They look about right. Cool. So we just need a load of these. One side. Counting screws out isn't exactly the most exciting YouTube content in the universe. It's all the joys of building. Longer perhaps. I'll try and put these little feet on here, protectors. So let's see, put these on. And that goes through. Hopefully that's enough. Nice and tight, and that's perfect size. Okay, happy with that. Now I just need 16 of them. Make sure they're the right size. This is really exciting stuff. Well, this will be on YouTube, so if anyone's watching this. Hey guys, got up to 200 subscribers now, which is pretty mind-blowing to me. I know for some people that's, you know, what they get and lose in a single hour on some of their channels, but for me it's so cool that 200 people decided that they want to see my content every now and again, which is really, really nice of you guys. So if you are a subscriber, thank you very much. I appreciate it immensely. Hopefully I've at least helped someone, which is kind of my goal in this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Hopefully that should be enough. Yeah, so thanks guys. If you are a subscriber, appreciate it. And if you're not a subscriber, why not? I appreciate that anyway if you're watching my content. And to be honest, most people who watch my content are subscribers, but I get the feeling that's quite common amongst YouTube channels. I have to admit, I watch a lot of content I'm not subscribed to, and the algorithm sends my way. I don't know how long this stream is going to last. I just thought, well, I'm doing this anyway, might as well. Make use of my laptop and my wife's office space that she has here in the spare bedroom, and use her very nice desk to do some building on. So tighten these up. Always start with the motors first, that's just me. I know some people like to start with like the centre and then work their way out, all that sort of stuff. But make sure none of the screws are poking through particularly. But I like to start with the motors. That should be well attached on there. Very nice. Right, one down. So I've got these little protectors on there, which I think I might keep on there. You can see that. Came with it. It adds weight, I know that, but to be honest, this isn't exactly going to be a light build. It's 3.5 inch, so I should take this off. 3.5 inches is pretty good size for a build. Take a bit of weight. It's not going to have like a GoPro or anything on it, or an action camera, so a few grams here and there aren't going to cause any issues. Hope the weather's alright where you are. If you are not in the south of England, where I am. Not exactly been the best flying weather over the past few days, but we are nearly at November, so you can't really complain too much. At least we're not under lockdown. Yeah. Anywho, trying to give anyone more depressing thoughts about lockdowns and other things. Right, get the rest of this stuff out of this bag. These, those. Three, and 1, 2, 3. It has got like a, you can see that, It's like a holder for putting on like an action camera or something like that. A naked GoPro or something. So that's quite nice, but I don't think I'm going to do that with this build. You don't have to film everything you do. I know some people like to, even if it's for their own, you know, for their own sort of video collection, things like that, and they can look at their flight style and see how it's going. I can appreciate that. Interestingly, I've got a spare of these motors, and it came in a little plastic tub which was HGLRC branded, and it's exactly the same motor, just HGLRC branded. It's like, yeah, that's where the motors are coming from then. Hopefully the sound's alright. Obviously got no one actually on at the moment to give me a thumbs up or something like that, but yeah, hopefully the sound's cool. At least you can hear me. I will listen back to this, and if it's rubbish, I will delete this off my channel. Go like that. And then we've got to juggle the screw and the little 3D printed foot pad. I'm using this because I don't like the fact that all these screws that you can see on the bottom there, all the screws are all sort of poking through and landing on a bit of concrete. At this time of year, you probably don't want to be landing in the grass, not unless you feel like cleaning loads of mud out of your props, or out of your motors or out of your quad. So landing on something a bit more hard standing, especially if it's a bit damp, it's good for your quad. That's it, gotcha. Get there in the end. It's 3D printed parts. They're okay, but they are not the best quality in the universe. They do what they need to, I suppose. And they are kind of a sacrificial part. They're going to take all the damage so the rest of the quad doesn't. Really the only thing new on this build is the motors and the camera. I've got a Caddx Ratel 2 for this. It's going to be analog. It can fit the system like a Caddx Vista or something like that. Is designed more for HD, as most things are nowadays. Most quads have got at least somewhere where you can put a Caddx Vista or something similar, an air unit even. And why is that not going through? That's... That's definitely in. It's just... That's it. Doesn't want to be that too tight, kind of pinching in the 3D printed part. Yeah, seems pretty good. It's not ideal. Kind of pulling the 3D printed part off the bottom there. Oh. 2 motors. I'm not going to stick them down just yet because I want to cut the wires first to length, and then we'll do that. So, another motor. Those are little plastic bags. There is so much rubbish when you finish building a quad. So much rubbish. We had someone join for a little bit, all of about 2 minutes. Yeah, fair enough. I'm doing this more for my own kind of, well, let's give it a go and see what happens. I'm not expecting anyone to really watch this particularly. But I'm doing it for my own experience and everything else. Yeah, why not? I can do it, the computer can do it. it's good to watch people build quads, just because it gives you experience. If you're not used to it yourself, it's like, well, people do this way and they do that way. And if you watch enough people, well, then you can go, all right, okay, they're the mistakes, they're the issues, they're things I don't need to think about. And then when you start sitting down and building yourself, you'll get all those same issues and problems and make mistakes, and then the thing won't fly or some other nonsense like that. But it's good to just see how people build, because I don't know about you, but anytime you ever meet anyone who flies a quad, the quad's already flying, they're not sitting there building, because they've already done that. So getting the experience of building, watching people build, all the things they have to do, can be good experience for you. So hopefully this is at least mildly helpful. These seem to be quite nice motors though. I'm quite a good fan of diatone stuff. They're budget stuff, definitely. And I know people be like with everything, I suppose. Oh well, I tried diatone and it, you know, plugged my quad in and it burned the house down. It's like, well, that's always going to be the case. To be honest, it's never not going to be the case. I would imagine most things. Not had any issues like that myself, thank goodness. But lipo fires and quad fires are not uncommon in this hobby, which is why you have to be very, very careful, as with most things in life. Trick is not to become too blasé about these things, which is easy to do. It's human nature. Oh, I've never had a quad fire, it'll be fine. Plug it in, don't worry about using a smoke stopper or something like that. I'm sure I wired it in alright, and before you know it, you've got magic smoke wafting through the house, and you're going online to buy new parts that have been damaged. Hopefully the camera's at least sort of in the right sort of position for you, so you can see what I'm doing. Difficult to kind of frame it. Using my little GoPro Hero 6 connected up to the laptop, running OBS, which is really easy to set up. Not had any trouble with it. So I recommend that if you want to set up more than one camera, which I would say you probably do. I managed to angle the camera that faces me away from all the untidiness in the room, because, you know, houses are untidy sometimes. Difficult to work out how tight to do it with these 3D printed parts, because they're kind of spongy, so it's kind of like you do it up. What I might do at a later point is just put some thread lock on it. Not on the prop, obviously. You've seen Joshua Bartle's video. I didn't even know that's what happened. I just didn't think anyone did it. It never even sort of crossed my mind to put thread locker on a prop. It was a good job I didn't, because otherwise we'd ended up with all sorts of problems. Right, okay. This has already been used on another build. It's the 30 amp Gemku one. Done a video on it and put it in some builds up. I ran it on a 5-inch and it didn't blow up, which was quite good. Though I did take it off because it's kind of like, yeah, it probably will blow up at some point. You're pushing your luck if it doesn't. Just got to remember where all. Right, so, and we've got a ghost attached to it. We'll need adjustment. So away, and we're going to mount this down. There we come up against the first issue. The ridiculously large capacitor doesn't want to fit in there. That's helpful. I'm going to use my TS100 because they are, for what they are, the best soldering iron for the price. Come on, the power supply isn't that great. That's better. Need 4 hands sometimes to do this. Come on, off you go. That's it. Try and neaten off the pads. Right. Okie dokie. Yeah, it. Lovely. That'll fit like that, and that should hopefully go through. Use the capacitor. That will hopefully go through there like that. You can see it sticks through the back there, and then we can mount it on the battery and the LiPo on there. So that's quite nice. We like that. That's good. Right. So before we do any of that, I'm going to remove that because that's annoying me at the moment. To go online and find out where all the pads are again. Ridiculous. Because there is no silk screening on it to show you what they are. Right now I've got to try and get this little QT antenna hopefully in here. I think that's going to play ball. Nope. Oh, never mind. I'm going to keep that on there because I've got a VTX antenna. This little guy here. So you can see that. And that should sort of slot in there like that. And I know Chris Rosser says don't do this, and I might not actually in the end if I can't get the blasted thing to. No, it doesn't seem to want to go in the hole there. Oh well, looks like we won't be using that 3D printed part, and we'll just have it off the back there. In which case we can just run that like so. Maybe attach it with a cable tie or something. Should be enough for our purposes. Maybe put it on an arm. I'll worry about that later. Make sure these are tightened up. This is the thing with builds, you have these ideas about what you want to do and how you want to do it, and then something comes along, it's like, no, you can't do that way. And you don't know until you actually set about building. It's the problem solving you need to learn. I quite enjoy doing that. That's it. Lovely. That can just sit down there out of the way for the time being. Okay. So let's get these soldered on now. Some people like to kind of curl the wires round. We could do that, I suppose, if you've got enough space for it, really. So you don't cut the wires down as much as you can so that you can use them on other builds and things like that. But I think what I'll do is I will cut them. Actually, can probably put that in there somewhere there, at the back. I might put this on an arm. Still no one on? No, fair enough. I imagine that if you've got nice weather, you're out flying. Just stick that down. So. Rubbish to one side, okay. Those boxes. Yeah, we've got a someone in the chat. Cool. Hello, Ramjam. Greetings from Ottawa. Radiant Cold. That's Canada, isn't it? Wow. Okay. Well, good morning. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, it's not too bad here. Very windy and very wet in the UK. To get back up to here. There's a very famous, well, I say famous, in the UK. There's like a restaurant on the A1 called the Ram Jam. Used to be, anyway. I think it's shut now. It always used to be mentioned on like the BBC travel news because there was always a problem there with traffic. And everyone, like the truckers and all that, knew where it was, so it was kind of easier just to say it's there as opposed to the local town. It's called the Ram Jam anyway. Keep getting that corner side thing. Tell you what, this is where you need good eyesight. I'm not using glasses yet. I'm sure that'll come. This is why people stick to 5-inch quads, because the pads are so much bigger. I think that's pretty good. Yeah, one mode's done. Curry Kitten's got a video on his channel, just come live on his Patreon. If you are not a Patreon supporter of Curry Kitten, or you don't know who he is, check him out. He has a lot of very, very useful information on his channel. Saved me a small fortune. And he's been doing this. Really inconvenient. Really got to work out how to do this. Right, that's better. Yeah. I've got a sim that's very, very cheap. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's slightly cartoony. It's not like photorealistic, but the physics are pretty good. And if you want to get a bit of practice in on a rainy day, I would highly suggest that you get a sim, and I would recommend like Curry's one, which has now got it on mobile as well, which is pretty cool. I know he's working on some other bits and pieces to make it look even better. So yeah, check out his content. Doing some interesting stuff with OpenHD. Which is basically sort of using like SharkBite or something like that, DJI, using Raspberry Pis and like off-shelf cameras and bits and pieces, but the more people that are adopting it, the more kind of specialist stuff is coming out. And as with Raspberry Pis, there's so many people working on that stuff. Just, you know, it's new stuff coming along all the time. So you never know, in a year, 18 months, it could be on par with something like DJI or something, if those guys keep working on it and innovators keep innovating. All from the spare bedroom or whatever. That's cool. Some of the best inventions in the world are created in someone's spare bedroom or garage or something. Why not? Massive desk and it's already cluttered. That's pretty good. Happy with that. Just doing the three wires. Not trying to do it in any specific order. You can do, because you can change the direction of them, but it's easy just to change the direction in on the computer, or get it working and then just change a couple of wires over later. There's always that. Any bits and pieces in here? I think I did have a couple of. Actually, I want to move it about a minute. So these are quite cool. I've never used these sort of plastic tube things on the arms before, but they came with it. So I was like, well, why not? At least they'll protect the wires from strike. And it's difficult to get a bit of tape. Normally get a bit like black tape or red tape if you're strange, and wrap it round the motors wires. But that can be a bit awkward with these struts, that you can't get the tape round very easily, so you kind of have to cut it, and it's a pain. Anyway, so these might make life a little bit easier. This is fiddly work. I'm sure this is really exciting content. Yeah, it's nice to watch people build. As I said, get some experience. If anyone happens to be watching this, can ask any questions they can ask in the live stream, or if they want to ask on the comment section. I do try and answer as many questions that I can if I'm able to. Don't always know the answer, you know. If you want to know someone who knows all the answers, it's like Joshua Bardwell. That guy's got has forgotten more about quads than most of us know, but I will try and answer a question or try and point you in the right direction if I do have, if I do or do not know what the answer is. Even. Such small pads on these little whoop style boards, really are tiny. I know some of them have got getting bigger pads now, which is good. They're kind of trying to make the pads as big as they can, but then that sacrifices silk screening to tell you what the pad does. It's not sold on thing. That seems to be pretty good. And the last one, that's looking nice already. Sort of smaller quads, I do have to admit, I do. If I can show you. Exchange. And as you can see, long hand. So I've got like 7" there, and I think that's like a 4", and that's one of those ET1 something or others. So that's like 2.8" pops, and then I've got loads of little. Trying to get my finger right, sort of. That's a toothpick and other small stuff. So I've got a good range of quads, and then there's some. That's a trash can you can barely see, and then got some little whoops as well there as well. And obviously a plane. It's not really playing with it at the moment. But yeah, I do like smaller quads, I have to admit. It's just easier to fly them, and where I fly at the local park, less likely to annoy any of the residents. And yeah, because they will not quite flaming pitchfork kind of people around here. They're very nice, my local village, but they do like peace and quiet. As most people who live in little villages tend to like. They don't move there because they like the hustle and bustle, they like there because they like the peace and quiet. Always the last one that's the pain. It's like the last lipo is always the pain. The last wire you're trying to solder is always the pain. When you're on a rush because you're flying the next day and the weather's just nice for that one day, and oh no, your quad's broken, and you're trying to get it sorted, always the pain. PM. I'll have a beer in a minute. Try and do this left-handed while trying to solder right-handed. There we are. And the last wire. Right, I've got a GPS system that I ran on the previous build of this quad where it had other bits in it. So I'm seriously considering putting that back on there. It's useful to have GPS. This is the BN. You see that there? To right. Focus to right. BN 180. I have to take my word for it. It's the BN 180. So not the greatest in the universe. A lot of people have problems. I did manage to get it to work eventually by putting loads of bits around the wire and setting it so it will. But you know what? I'm probably not going to use it at the moment. I don't know. Yeah, useful. Right, okay. So let's get the camera out and have a look at it. An old camera now, this guy, the old Kelix, but still good. One of the better analog cameras. Most people agree. Nice big lens, good quality picture, and all of that. Nice long wire. Go in there. Come on. That's it, there we are. We have success. So we need some screws, which should be in this little bag as well. Should be a number of sizes depending on the size. I don't know whether this is going to fit or not. Let's have a look. Yeah, that looks pretty good. 3D printed parts. Interesting, it's got a lot of holes on the side here for different style cameras. So depending on what size camera you're using, you can put it quite forward. I want a bit of protection, so I think there will be about right. Good. Can shuffle it back a little bit later. There isn't a huge amount of protection on there, but you don't want to be seeing like all the sides in the picture. So, good. So hopefully we've got enough protection there for the camera, but not blocking our view. So put that. So should catch a large branch anyway. Not that I'm planning on flying through too many branches, but it's always good to have just in case. Plan B. Well, you're going to fly through it eventually, and that should just go through like that. Very nice. Excellent. Excellent. Right, so that can go out of the way for the time being. We'll connect that to our little Diamond VTX, which has a DVR in it. It's the only VTX I've got at the moment. Should get quite a nice view. I'm going to remove the. I use one of these very small race wires because they've got 3 wires. If you want to connect a VTX with a plug to a camera that also has a plug, unless the plugs happen to fit, which actually you're going to get very, very lucky. The universe. not. I don't know if that is. Nope, there's slightly different sizes, so yeah, that's what normally happens. So yeah, we want to connect that in. So if we want to connect these two together, we could just do you know, solder the wires together. But if you use something like this, you can then easily get the wires together. They're not going to touch, and you only have to put a bit of heat shrink around a little bit of race wire. So get the smallest race wire you think you can use. Got these ones from I think it was a Hong Kong website, Taco RC. They're the last time I tried to order something from them, they cancelled the order because they said that they can only send it on a boat, and the boat would take like 2 months to get here or something like that. So it was like, yeah, I ain't waiting 2 months for some race wire. I've got enough in stock to last me. Thank you very, very much. I got my money back. So let's just wait for the one good thing about the about these guys, TS100s or whatever they are now. They made these for a while, but they go into like 200 degrees sort of storage temperature. If you don't use them for a while, they've got like a little G sensor, so if they're not being moved, they'll go into like a storage temperature, and that means that you don't end up with an iron sitting there roasting hot, damaging itself or causing issues, which is very, very clever. And these are so cheap, these soldering irons. The only problem is, as someone said in one of my videos, you've got to have like a power pack to connect it to. Some people have like old laptop power packs and things like that, and you can buy them on Amazon for a few quid, but it's kind of like, well, you know, do you really have to, why can't you just plug it into something a bit more practical? Do you really have to use that? Why don't they come with it? Which is a fair enough comment to make, I can understand that. Immensely frustrating sometimes, these things. Right, okay, so I've got that. That can be sort of buried in there somewhere. You can run a, what I like to call a branch hook style of antenna. Really catch those branches to make sure you get hooked to the top of that tree, just to make your day that much more special. Right, okay. So I have to look on my phone to see what the layout of this board is. My goodness me. This one, the GF411 all-in-one. Look at images. Try and find the one that's actually the right board. Ah, here we are. Found it. Right, cool. Yes. And right, excellent. We got it. As you can see that. That was exciting, me doing a search online. Dear. So immense respect for Joshua Bardwell. He does these things every week. He always keeps them entertaining. Right, okay. So I'm going to try and poke that up through that. To there like that. That's good. Sit like that. So we need to kind of bring the wires back that way. buzzer down there. Very useful to have a buzzer. We need to go over there, don't they? Well, that's not very helpful. Maybe that'll have to go on afterwards, perhaps. Stretch the thing up across the board. You know what? I'm going to say, well, that's very nice, but something else. This can go back in stock. Wait. Okay. Here we go. HGLIC. Knife. Let's see if this is an M80. This is a far superior GPS, the B180. Much superior. That looks to be, will that fit? Is the question. Or should we just say, it's going to be a little tight on there. It's actually got silicone wire as well. Rubbishy plastic coated ones. My goodness me. Right, first time. So yeah, so maybe we can put that on afterwards. Yeah, I think we'll maybe put that on afterwards. Don't need a GPS. Maybe, you know. That's that important. Let's get the actual quad working and flying, because I'm going away next week and I would like to have it to take with me. Actual holiday. Right, it's okay. So where's this guy going to live then? Could put it, run it from front to back. That might be quite a nice idea actually. Yeah. First things first though, we are going to solder that pad, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to use, because this is the Ghost system, and with Ghost you can control with the extra pad that you've got on there, so it only needs one pad for the actual connection, unlike ELRS or Express LRS or Crossfire. We need a TX and RX pad, you just need RX pad. So you get another pad on there, you can connect up to your VTX if it runs Tramp, and a lot of the cheaper ones tend to run Tramp for some reason, that maybe it was easy for them to do or something like that, I don't know. So if you've got a Tramp receiver, you can connect that up, then that frees up a TX on your flight control if you've only got like 2, which this one has, for running GPS or something else like that. It makes life a lot easier, and then you can control it through your transmitter. You don't have to worry about setting up VTX tables and all that kind of nonsense through Betaflight. You can just connect it, use a little OLED screen on the back of the Ghost system, set your power, set your what channel you want to be on, and you're away. Really, really useful, really helpful in that. So I'm going to use that on this. So I'm going to map that, sort of move that buzzer out of the way, that can just flop about under there afterwards. So I'm going to mount that underneath there, then there is the cable to connect it up, so I just need to connect up that. It's already on there because it will just go straight into our VTX. So we want to protect this from shorting out on anything, is the thing. Stick it down on the carbon down in there, or I could solder it up, put on a bit of heat shrink and do that, which might be a better idea. We're not going to be on for much longer now, but we'll get back to this later perhaps. Here we are, right, lovely, so that's connected up there, so now what we've got to do is, okay, we've got to try and get this underneath here, if we can. Disconnect it. The thing is with this Go stuff, you know that the parts are quite good quality. That is the thing with Express LRS. I mean, Maytech have got some stuff out now which is obviously going to be excellent quality because all their stuff is excellent quality, and a few other companies as well. It's just a case of waiting for those good companies to kind of produce the stuff so that it is good quality. I find the antennas pretty poor on them. Some of them aren't even really cut to the proper length. It's really, really weird. So I'll flip around the other way. So I've got to try and connect some. God, fiddly. Feeling this stream is just going to be me sighing and making annoyed noises. I think that's probably most builds, to be fair. So, okay, put that on there. So flip it around like this to run along the length of it, like that. Excellent. So we're happy with that. And that is well connected, and it's sitting nicely underneath. Oh, that's what we've done. That's probably the arms. It's sitting quite nicely underneath. Antenna sitting nicely underneath that all-in-one board, and I can work out a way of connecting that another time. Quite sure yet. Maybe you can put it that way just to get the best signal. We can always put it onto one of the arms. We've got a bit of space there. So now I need to do is I need to get a bit of shrink wrap on. Heat shrink on this, heat shrink on this, or should I just use some Kaptons there? Is it Kapton tape? Lepton tape? I can't remember what it's called. It's electrical tape that is resistant to heat. I've got a sneaking suspicion they use it when they're doing like power ribbons and things like that, so they actually put circuits on these. But it protects your electronics and it can resist heat, and you can see through it as well. That's the thing when you're taping something up, if you can't see it, for example if it's got like a little LED or something on here like this one has, if you can't see that and then you're going to wondering what's the problem is with it, well the problem might be that it's not, it might be because it's not working, because it's not connected or something like that, but you don't know because the light, you can't see if the light's coming on. And if you try and remove the tape or the heat shrink or something like that, and you haven't, you can't see what's underneath it, you could run your knife to try and cut the tape and it will run it straight through a trace or something like that, and then you really are having fun. So yeah, I would suggest using as much transparent or see-through material as you can when you're doing a build, just in case. I'll be live streaming now for 1 hour. I think someone's actually watching. They made a comment, but that's cool. You don't have to. I don't know who's going to be watching this in the future. Like I said, I might not even leave this on my channel. It's just more of an experiment than anything else. Whether people could hear me, whether it was a good picture, whether it was even mildly worth them watching or anything like that. A comment in the comment section would be helpful. If you wish. Let's just... So they can go a bit further that way before we stick it down. There we are. That'll do. And it's already bound to my transmitter, so because it's on another build that I flew in another one of my videos. So hopefully that should be right there. Okay. Cool. Cool. 6 o'clock. The laptop. I'm not getting too warm. It's good. Right, now would be a good idea for us to connect these up. And we have a different. Which one was it connected to then? Where's the phone? Ground at 5 volt. On that. It's another 5 volt. Oh, that's a ground there as well. Okay. So I might use those two there. I'm going to keep the normal pad which is there. You can see that there. That's the normal pad for getting voltage for your receiver, but it's on like a 4.5 volt pad. So if you want to just plug in a USB to get it to bind, then that's really useful. You're not like turning on the whole quad or anything like that. You can bind it all up, get that all set without having to power up like the VTX and everything. Makes life a lot easier. We'll try and plug in a LiPo, which is normally what you have to do. But I'm gonna, because it's already bound, I'm gonna use that pad for the GPS. If you have the GPS on that pad, you can connect like a power bank to it. It'll power up the GPS. It'll start to look for satellites, get satellites, and then when you plug it in, you've got satellites already, and you haven't had to sit there with the LiPo plugged in for 5 minutes while you wait to get a couple of satellites. So I like using those sort of pads for that. So these, we can go 5 volt and ground can go just here. Just on top of the buzzer, which isn't ideal, but it is what it is. We had someone on there, but they're gone now. That's better. Stripping all the wires off the cable and pulled on it. What you can do to make sure the wires are not too long, I like to use. It's like when someone's giving you a haircut, they use like their fingers in between your hair to see the distance. So they put your hair between the fingers, they kind of measure it off, and then they snip it along the line of their fingers to get consistent depth. And I find that's quite a useful technique with cutting wires off. If you take your tweezers and then sort of grip hold of the bare wire, and then what's above it, snip off, and then you're left with a reasonable amount, but not too much. Little top tip for you there. And, connect this one up. I have to connect the other one up to the other side, because of course we are. giant yellow peak. So neatly down and out of the way. Lovely. Lovely wheel. Okay, that's nicely connected up. Right. Now we've got this final cable here for connecting to our pad, and I can't remember which one it is. I think it's the 4th pad. I think we're on S-bus with this one. Been running this on Ghost on S-bus, yes, because they haven't got the other Ghost protocol, whatever is up and running particularly yet, and it's just as easy. I'm not that concerned about latency. 41, feel latency that much. Having said that, Flying Express LRS, you can actually feel it. You know, I was really surprised. I thought that I couldn't, you know, the hand-eye coordination of someone who's hit their hand too many times with a hammer. But no, I could actually feel the latency, the improvement. It felt more immediate. I don't know if there's anyone else's experience running Express LRS, but yeah, for me that's how it felt. But like, yeah, it's like more immediate. I think I'm going to need to get this camera a bit closer. I think that's the main lesson we've learnt from today's experiment. It needs to be closer. There we go. Right, cool. Push it down. And then we've got our little VTX that we're going to sort of run maybe like that. And then we're going to run out VTX out the back. Maybe we'll put that sideways. That way we can at least get. Oh, can't go that way because that's sitting on that. Okay. I think we're going to have to run it that way around. I think that's the only way we can. Might not even use this. I don't know yet. We'll see. But yes, so we need to get some standoffs and stuff. Some more people on. Hello. You guys are okay? Thank you for joining me. Is that cross-threaded? That's why people don't work on like small builds. Everything's just so flipping fiddly. Minuscule. doing? Right. Do this for another few more minutes and then go and get a beer. I think we need like a space or something to hold it off there, does that? Yeah. We have got plenty of room underneath because we're going to have to wrap our battery strap around this, of course, so we want to be careful, not be too much, but I think we might be able to come up a bit more with that. We'll see. Did have some spaces from the previous, this is all just basically parts of the previous builds, all did fit together. It was just trying to fit together like that. Yeah, I might need to get spaces to raise up a bit more. We do not want anything touching, and with the SD card and that in, it's going to get a bit on the warm side. So yeah, cool. Right, I'm just getting a few more people watching, which is pretty cool. Like 3. I appreciate it, honestly, I do. I know this is not the most interesting stream in the universe. I can appreciate that. It's like building quads. I don't know, some people can't stand it and some people love it. I quite enjoy it, I have to admit. I do enjoy building quads. I enjoy flying them a lot more, but I do enjoy building them. Right, okay, so I've been streaming now for, let's have a look. What you've been streaming all? Oh, I've got a like. Oh, thank you very much. He's streaming now for an hour and 14 minutes. Wow, that is a long time. Anyway, so thank you so much for watching. If you still are, I'm not going to progress the build anymore. I'm going to go and have a beer, and I might be back today or tomorrow or sometime in the future. And this video may remain on YouTube sometime into the future. I don't know yet. Anyway. Thank you so much for watching my content, really appreciate it. If you happen to like this video, that's cool, thank you. If you happen to subscribe to my channel, that's also very cool, thank you very much. Perhaps I'll catch you in a video in the future. Anyway, happy flying and take care, bye bye.